getting time to lay down a very, very slow qualifying lap. He needs to be here. Steve Barnett's already missing tonight. All right, hopefully the audio working now. Can we get a confirmation from everyone? Perfect. No, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pultz Poppers 175, but here at Richmond Raceway and the SimRacerHub.com, running to the playoffs here. Missed most of the pre-race show, unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, but we were talking in the pre-race about our playoff grid and the challenges these drivers are going to have tonight, and the fact that our pole sitter right now is a non-playoff driver, Hunter Parsons.
Oh, yeah, super excited to be here tonight, Tyler. Again, we apologize for those technical difficulties to start off tonight's broadcast here. 60 Racing Network. We talked a little bit about what happened on the regular season finale where Brendan Broadfoot got that last spot into these playoff races. Tyler, we also touched on what these drivers have to go through to make sure they lock themselves in to get those win and you're in scenarios here in these playoff races. And you also spoke to Jason Morales in that 5 machine about what he's going to do here tonight. Tyler, we're in for one heck of a race, especially with Parsons at the top of the grid. I think he's going to be very strong here tonight.
Yeah, and actually, I'm going to take this opportunity to bring back in Jason Morales. I do feel bad his interview didn't get aired, so we're going to make sure it does get aired here. Jason Morales, we'll bring you back in. We had a bit of technical difficulties. I believe we've resolved all of our sound issues, but if you'd like to make your announcement to the fans at home on what your plans are in the creation of your new race team for next season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you giving me a second shot here. So, we're starting up Highline Racing for next season, season 2. We're going to have, pole sitter here, Hunter Parsons, and Raul Meza, Steve Barnett, myself, and Chris Blanchard.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing what that team can do. Like you mentioned, pole sitter here tonight, and you're going to be starting not too far behind him right there yourself, rolling off P3. Obviously, it looks like Raul Meza just snuck in time to get started for this race this evening. Obviously, about to start rolling off for pace laps here shortly, but we wanted to wish you best of luck and make sure you got your announcement out. We, again, apologize for the technical difficulties. We're glad we were able to finally get it resolved here before we go green flag racing. But before we let you go, Jason, you mentioned that this track's going to pose a bit of a challenge for the drivers tonight. Very long stage, number 3, about 100 laps to the finish here. What do you think is going to be the key to getting your truck in victory lane?
Yeah, really, I think the key is going to be, staying alive a little bit here. This is a track where you got to back up the corners pretty far and just hoping someone doesn't run underneath you. So really survival to the last lap, to the last stage there, and saving your tires. It's pretty aggressive here. So,
well, Jason, as we get rolling on the pace laps, we'd like to again thank you for your patience and your time with us this evening. Best of luck tonight. Hopefully, we'll be talking with you after the race.
Yes, sir. Hopefully, we get this Sunstar Dental truck in victory lane tonight.
Appreciate it again. Thank you again, and congrats on your new team starting next year.
Thank you, sir.
Well, we heard from the driver rolling off P3 tonight, but let's go through the grid this evening, see which drivers are rolling off. We'll start with the top 10. Hunter Parsons, your pole sitter to the inside, a non-playoff driver to his outside, your regular season champion. That's Nathan Maurer. Starting off on row number 2, you have Jason Morales and Justin White, another postseason driver. That postseason drivers all in row number 2. Row number 3, you have Robbie Richards and Brian Chu, another set of playoff drivers. Row number 4 is Carriage View and Dan Hagan. Carriage View looking to continue his positive run. He's been top 6 in the last 4 races, looking to make it another solid run here tonight. Rounding out your top 10, you have Sean Hamilton. Really struggled the last 4 races. Hasn't finished inside the top 20 yet in the final stretch to the playoffs. And his outside help, Christopher Blanchard, is joining Jason Morales' new team next season. We'll take it away.
Then you jump to 11th. We have Kyle Hess in that 86 machine. 12th, Brady LaBeouf, the boss man, in that 9. 13th, we have Tim Hinman in that 69. You spoke about the result Tim Hinman has to have here tonight. In the 14th position, we have a driver that was coming on strong there at the end, Ron Hunter in that 30 machine. Cody Knott in that 26 will roll off 15th. Charles Keller Jr. will roll off 16th in that 99. Raul Meza in that 37 will roll off 17th. Brendan Broadfoot, our last playoff driver, will roll off 18th. Stephen Thomas in that 23, 19th. And Donnie Lyons in that 79 will roll off 20th.
And we're underway here. 175 laps in Richmond tonight. Stages are 35, 75, 175. So a very long third stage tonight. Drivers got to worry about fuel. 75% fuel means fuel window 72 to 77. So we'll be expecting a stop in the third and final stage. and only 4 sets of tires to work with tonight, so they only have 3 additional sets to put on these trucks' tire wear. A big challenge here on the right front, especially Richmond Raceway. You're going to see these drivers trying to get single file as quickly as possible and not wear out those right fronts early on. As you see, solid leader for Hunter Parsons, Nate Maurer, Justin White, Brian Chu all getting in line. Jason Morales drops back to 5th here on the initial start. He's coming under fire from Kerry Chavie, who's trying to move up more positions.
And right now we watch Justin White right there in that 2 machine holding off. Justin White, pretty good run into these playoff races. Can he keep that momentum flowing here tonight, as we're already starting to see some drivers bounce off that top side wall 3 laps into this race right now, starting to see that pace set here tonight, Tyler. But as always in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series races, these first 2 stages, almost like a study session, if you will, Tyler. Watch out for these drivers. If you've never watched one of these races before, these drivers will do a lot of homework. They'll experiment, and in that last haul of the race, that's when everything will be implemented and really take control of this race.
I think that's a big thing tonight, especially for these drivers, is being patient early on, seeing how the tire wear on that right front can be managed in these shorter first 2 stages, kind of setting themselves up for the long run here at the end. You may even see some drivers opt to take no tires between stage 1 and stage 2, opting for track position instead, and maybe saving an extra set in case we have a late caution here at the end of this race. So you see most of the field is single file, first battle for position. Oh, really none on track currently. We're all single file. It looks like a truck got into the wall there. Maybe it's Sean Hamilton. Further back, you have a couple drivers battling for position. It looks to be Kyle Hess, and I want to say Dan Hagan to his outside, and you have Brady LaBeouf to the outside of Tim Hammond. Another driver's really struggled the last 2 weeks here. Well, Tim Hammond hasn't been inside the top 15 despite running up front in a lot of these races.
Yeah, and that's really a shame there for that 69 Chuck. I would say a driver that comes into every week pretty strong. You'd say the runs during the ins and flows of the race. You see that 69 get up inside the top 8, top 10, some of these races. Unfortunate events. I know just offhand. Remember, he got wrecked under caution in one race. He's been tagged up a few times, some late race cautions as well. He's missed a few races this season as well, so that's dropped him down in the points. Just as you mentioned there, Tyler, just really trying to get that footing underneath him here tonight. That 69 machine would love nothing better to get that win, to have to not worry about those elimination races.
Yeah, well, and you kind of pointed out the importance of not having to worry into these elimination races. One driver who will definitely have to worry into these elimination races is Steve Barnett. Playoff driver was not in the field tonight, could not make it. No drop races in the playoffs. That's going to hurt him. He's only going to have 2 points races to go against other drivers. And also, if you don't start all 3 races, a win does not lock you into the next round. So even if he wins one of the next 2, he could still miss out if he doesn't perform well.
That's a big miss. That's a big miss right there. But of course, everybody knows real life can get in the way sometimes of your iRacing career. But right now, here 10 laps into this race, as you just mentioned it there, 35 laps will be stage number 1. Starting to see some moves starting to play out here at Richmond.
And I think a driver we need to keep an eye on is that number 37 machine of Raul Meza. Got in just barely in time to lay down a qualifying lap. Qualified relatively decently. Qualified 17th. Out of the 24 truck field here tonight. Raul Meza, though, because of his qualifying position back in traffic, another driver who qualified but did not start a lap. That's Adam Newbert, another playoff driver. So Adam Newbert is going to lose a lot of points tonight, as is Steve Barnett. Now, Adam Newbert did start the race. I don't know if he made a lap, though, and that's going to determine whether or not a win and in is eligible for him. I believe he has to complete a lap, in order to win and lock himself in one of the next 2 races.
Yeah, right now as we're watching Kerry Chavie come off the corner number 2, still single file here from the top of the grid, all the way down to about the 10th position right now on lap number 12. You talk about some of these drivers that the results here the past couple of races haven't been all that great, but Adam Newbert was on that tear across NASCAR series there.
Wall.
Yeah, we just saw that in the month of February, but now the last couple races here in NASCAR, Adam Newbert hasn't been the same driver. Let's see if that affects him here in these playoff races.
Yeah, but as we said, missing that one race and having to race your way in on points with one less race in the rest of the playoff field is extremely challenging. The one thing that Adam Newbert has going for him is he has a lot of playoff points. He's won 3 of the last 4 races. The only other driver who's been relatively competitive is your driver who's already moved up to 2nd position of 5 spots from the drop of the green flag. That's Kerry Chavie. He has not finished outside the top 6 in those same 4 races, with several podium finishes, as you see the number 7 machine there, trying to hunt down your leader, Hunter Parsons. And I'd argue he's been the fastest truck on track for the last 4 or 5 laps now. running down your leader, kind of separating himself from your regular season champion, Nathan Maurer. Will, I think Eric Tribute has to be one to watch here tonight.
I really think so as well. That 7 machine here we talked about it, just one of those drivers that never really broke out into victory lane there during the regular season, but got into the playoffs based on those excellent results you just talked about, Tyler, here tonight, running right in that second position, being one of the fastest trucks out there. That 7 machine, you throw out all the results from the regular season, of course, didn't have any wins, but you start racking up wins here in these playoff races, Tyler, you could position yourself for the championship at the end of this, no matter what happened in that regular season.
I think it's important you point out he did not win a single race in the regular season. There's another playoff driver like him that's always been super consistent this year, and that's the 51 of Brian Chu. He hasn't won a race per se, but he has been up in the top 10 week in, week out. Just a really solid driver. Reminds me a little bit of Matt Kenseth in 2004 winning the NASCAR, I believe, Nextel Cup Series championship that year. He only won one race that year, Matt Kenseth. He won the title away from Dale Jr., who won 7 races that year. Obviously, Dale Jr. lost points for putting a curse word on air, so many argue it was a tainted victory nonetheless. Matt Kenseth still was the epitome of consistency that season, Will.
Yeah, right now, as we're going to ride on board with Brian Chu in that 51 machine, just seeing Adam Newbert's response to me talking about it. It's a bit of a cold streak here the past couple of races here. Tyler, I can't help it that he won a lot of money there last month, here in the month of February. Of course, all these races here, Tyler, these drivers are racing for some cold, hard cash. So not only a championship on the line each race, but also some money on the line.
No doubt. A lot of money on the line here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. These drivers paid into a charter system to guarantee them eligibility to earn points week in, week out. The charter system entry fee is what pays for the championship pot. So pretty decent pot going to the championship for. And don't forget, some of these drivers who are out of the playoffs are still competing for prizes as well. Prizes go to 17th place position finisher, so the first driver outside of the playoffs. So it's been a very interesting season so far, but there's still lots to fight for in the playoffs and out of the playoffs, as you still see Hunter Parsons, your non-playoff driver, leading the way here. Garrett Tribune starting to fall off a little bit, though. Well, Nathan Maurer to his inside.
As we watch Nathan Maurer, the 971 machine, creep to the inside of the 7, down in the corner here as we count down the laps here in stage number 1. We'll race it down to 35 laps here in this first stage. Lot to race for here in this first stage. Of course, as I mentioned, these drivers are experimenting as we're digging down to 3 and 4. They're doing their homework. They're getting all those those data markers to get a little scientifical with it here, Tyler, as we dig down to corner number 1. It's the 971 still trying to clear to the inside.
Yeah, and I think a story to keep an eye on. We watched a great points battle last 2 weeks of the regular season between Brandon Broadfoot and Ron Hunter. And Brandon Broadfoot ended up getting into the playoffs over Ron Hunter by just a handful of points. But tonight, right now, Ron Hunter's running in 13th. Brandon Broadfoot's running in 22nd. So Ron Hunter's probably kicking himself for not getting the job done those last 2 weeks, because he's really putting together himself a solid night so far. Really just kind of minding his own business, keeping his truck clean, running there behind Tim Hammond, who's sitting in 12th, one of your playoff drivers, and right ahead of Stephen Thomas, who I consider to be one of the best long-run drivers at Richmond, at really any short track in the NASCAR racing family. So really doing well for himself right now, as you see Kerry Tribune starting to fall back even more. He's now dropped to 5th behind Robbie Richards and Justin White.
Yeah, right now as we're settling into this pace here in stage number 1, Parsons still leading the way in that 20 machine to 23 of Thomas right there, just jumping in front of the 30 of Ron Hunter. And Tyler, as we're going to ride on board with that 30 machine of Ron Hunter, do you think his mindset at all tonight's affected by the results there in the regular season finale, where he wasn't able to make it in on those points, but still comes out here tonight knowing that his championship's hopes are dashed, but still a race win can be in the cards?
Yeah, I think he has to have that mindset coming forward. I know it was obviously very frustrating for him not to make the playoffs, especially when he got taken out in that wreck at Las Vegas, kind of dashing his championship hopes and guaranteeing that Brandon Broadfoot would make the playoffs. But you still have to have that winner's mentality, going out competing as much as you can, as hard as you can, week in, week out. Like we said, there are still prizes available for the 17th place finisher, and Ron Hunter would definitely be in the catbird seat for that prize.
Yeah, right now here on lap 27, seeing a lot of single file racing. Drivers still trying to get used to the groove here at Richmond as we dig down to corner number 1 here, make it 28, the 971 of Nathan Maurer, our points leader coming into these playoff races here tonight, Tyler. Let's see if the 971 can get that momentum going here once again.
Yeah, he's now a second behind Hunter Parsons. Hunter Parsons just been as smooth as could be out front, holding that pretty wheel. Picture of consistency. Maurer slowly digging into that lead a little bit, but still Hunter Parsons just really controlling his truck well. And it's good to see a driver who definitely did not have the regular season he wanted have a really, really strong run here early on.
Yeah, Hunter Parsons right now leading the way in that 20 machine. Very simple fire suit for that driver. Very simple helmet for that driver. But the way that he handles that truck around the racetrack here tonight, not a simple way of driving. But as we mentioned, Tyler, still a long way to go here in tonight's event as we're down that backstretch down to 3 and 4. Still a lot more strategies to be coming into play as well as the racing strategy here. See what drivers start to experiment here through the stage races.
Yeah, they definitely have to. These drivers really trying to figure out where they can slot in and also just understanding tire wear early on here. I think you're going to see drivers maybe opt for, just being up front. Track position is going to be key tonight. It's so hard to pass at Richmond. It's so easy once you're in traffic to make mistakes. So I think you're going to see maybe a shift in mentality from some of these drivers here at stage 1, which should end in about 3 more laps.
Yeah, just about 3 more laps to go here in stage number 1. Taking a look at that Monster Energy machine of Brian Chu in that 51 down in the corner. You see Sean Hamilton right behind him in that 89 machine as we're down the backstretch. A lot of moving parts here inside the top 10, but as mentioned here, Tyler, in stage number 1 as we're down into 3 and 4. Not a lot of big moves, not a lot of big movers on the racetrack as well. Just a very comfortable pace here in stage number 1 as we are just shy of 3 laps to go.
Yeah, just over 3 to go here in the stage. Hunter Parsons still almost a second lead over Nathan Maurer, Justin White, Robbie Richards, Kerry Tribute. Jason Morales dropping down to 6th. Brian Chu 7th. Sean Hamilton finally having a decent run here tonight in that 89 machine you see on screen. Chris Blanchard 9th. And Kyle Hess rounding out your top 10. And we mentioned in the pre-race show, which unfortunately no one heard because of technical difficulties, Will, but when you looked at drivers who performed well at our previous short track Bristol Motor Speedway, your top 5 was Blake Lothian, Nathan Maurer, Kyle Hess, I believe Justin White, and then Curtis Rogers. Obviously, that was a very wreck-filled event at Bristol Motor Speedway, but drivers who struggled, Raul Meza, Sean Hamilton, Jason Morales, Cody Knott, all those drivers having relatively decent nights tonight. So definitely drivers to keep your eye out on as we're in the last corner here of stage number 1. Hunter Parsons, your leader. He will lead every single lap of this race, and he will be your winner in stage number 1 here in the Pultz Poppers 175, as he will lead Nathan Maurer, Justin White, Robbie Richards, Kerry Tribute, Jason Morales, Sean Hamilton, Brian Chu, Chris Blanchard, and Kyle Hess, your top 10 here, stage end officially once that 10th place car crosses the line. Caution flag has flown.
Yeah, and there's not much to say about that stage number 1 drive from Hunter Parsons. If you joined our broadcast late here, of course, you might have been getting a snack, something to drink here, only 18 minutes into this broadcast here tonight. Hunter Parsons got stage 1 done quick, fast, and in a hurry. Fastest truck in practice, fastest truck in qualifying, now the fastest truck on the racetrack. They're making quick work of stage number 1 here tonight. See if he can continue that momentum through.
Yeah, we'll take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back, and we'll talk more about the playoff picture as we get ready for stage number 2 here tonight in the Pultz Poppers 175. And we're back here in the Pulse Poppers 175, your stage one winner, Hunter Parsons. Will, you're going to talk with him right now.
Yeah, speaking with Hunter Parsons, that 20 machine making quick work of stage number 1. Only took him about 18 minutes to do so. Hunter, how'd you get that stage done so fast?
Yeah, it was a very good stage, just by everyone. Very clean racing so far, no cautions. Got to give props to everyone running a really smart race. Feel really consistent, really smooth, and just really easy to drive. So looking forward to the rest of this one.
Here tonight, we mentioned it on the broadcast, a non-points driver, not racing for a championship. Does that really take the monkey off your back here tonight? Is this race, I wouldn't say a fun race because you're still racing for cash, but does it make it a little bit more fun, let's say?
To a sense, yeah. Still a lot of heavy hitters in this league racing for something, and they're going to try and take whatever they can get. So even though it's not a points race for me, it's for everyone else. So it makes it almost just as stressful trying to run my own race.
For sure. And as we count down here, as we're going to stage number 2, is it the same strategy going forward, or are you going to start to experiment here in these later parts of the race?
Well, I think what I did there in stage 1 worked out really well, so we're just going to keep running with the same strategy throughout.
Gotcha, my man, and I hope you take home the bag here tonight. Hunter Parsons, stage number 1 winner. Before we let you go, Hunter, anyone you want to say hi to here on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network?
Everyone watching right now, and hopefully they're getting their money's worth watching.
Yes, sir. All right, Hunter Parsons, that 20 machine. Good luck the rest of the way. Hopefully we talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
That was your stage 1 winner with Will Tiller. Hunter Parsons, he's going to lead the field to green here. So we're going to go restart here. Low in the lap 75 this time in stage number 2. Hunter Parsons gets on the gas here late in the Geico restart zone and gets a great shot. He's going to get well clear of Nathan Maurer entering 1 and 2 as we go green flag racing. Everyone trying to get single file early on. You're going to see Kerry try to hold on to the outside of Justin White, battling side by side. That's Sean Hamilton, Jason Morales behind him. Meanwhile, your front 2 single file and well clear of the field already.
Very dicey right there on the backstretch, going down to 3 and 4 here as we kick off stage number 2. This is where things get dicey. But as you see, Hunter Parsons right there leads the way across the start-finish line here, leading us the first lap under green here in stage number 2 here at Tyler. But a lot of craziness happening inside the grid.
Yeah, props to Kerry Tribune, making a pass work on the outside of Justin White here, and he's going to slide up into 3rd position. Kind of saw him come on strong there early in stage 1, fall off later in the stage, but Jason Morales also coming on strong. He's going to get around Justin White on the outside, so maybe the outside lane's starting to work a little bit here for some of these drivers. They get better runs, it seems, off the corner by quite a bit to the driver stuck on the inside.
Yeah, as we're starting to settle in here as we come off corner number 2 down the backstretch right now. Unfortunately, nobody heard your interview there with Jason Morales in the 5 machine, but if you could recap for the folks at home that wanted to listen to, what were some of the things that the 5 was mentioning here tonight?
Yeah, we did talk with him again right before the green flag dropped, but he mentioned his new team, Highline Racing, coming to the TimRacerHub.com Truck Series for Season 2 when we get started here in about 9 to 10 weeks with Season 2. He's bringing on drivers like Raul Meza, Chris Blanchard, himself, Hunter Parsons. Your pole sitter will be here full-time next season in the TimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Oh, and also, Steve Barnett, a driver who's been really consistent this season, unfortunately not in the field tonight. So he's getting some pretty heavy hitters, I think, for his team for next season, Will.
Yeah, big moves being already made for Season 2. We've seen the competitiveness all season long here in the TimRacerHub.com Truck Series, from the kickoff events there, the Daytona duels throughout the season here. Tyler, has been nonstop action here. We've seen the pace in these stage racing events that are put on here every week. That's, I think, what's opened the door for different winners each week here as we're down the backstretch. A close battle between Justin White and Hamilton down to 3.
Yeah, and look who's finally cracking himself into the top 10. That's the boss man, Brady LaBeouf, and Tim Hammond behind him. 2 drivers who did not get stage points in stage 1, and those are 2 playoff drivers who really needed those stage points. So 2 playoff drivers already early on, not getting the results they want in stage 1, but they're already inside the top 10 here for stage 2. Meanwhile, you have Steve Thomas right behind them. Oh, he's just racing to have a blast here tonight. Steve Thomas always competitive at the short tracks. And then you have Chris Blanchard, another driver who did not have any stage points in stage number 1, playoff driver, trying to get some stage points. And behind him, oh, look, another playoff driver and another playoff driver there, Will Tiller. All the playoff drivers seem to come together here at the bottom half of the top 10.
Yeah, and if we could keep an eye on that little pack right here with Raul Meza, Chris Blanchard, the 14, Tim Hammond in the 69. We also take a look at the 23 of Thomas, Brady LaBeouf right there in the 9. these are all drivers that I feel like could have had better regular seasons there. Of course, you can always look back. Hindsight's 2020 there, Tyler. But these are all drivers that may have caught bad luck during the regular season. Their runs during the race may have been very good, but maybe just a late race caution may have knocked them outside of the top 10, the top 5 there at some of these races. You look at Brady LaBeouf. Let's compare him to Tim Hammond at 69. Brady LaBeouf, very strong during the season, and then simmered way down. Bad results there down the stretch, was in the playoffs based on those really good results. Towards the end of the season, though, not the driver we saw at the beginning of the season. We look at Tim Hammond at 69, though, never really had the results that could really separate him there, Tyler. Always looking for that good result. Maybe it'll come here in the playoff races.
Yeah, Tim Hammond only had 3 top 5s on the year, 5 top 10s. But again, like I mentioned multiple times tonight, hasn't finished in the top 15 the last 2 races. Had some really strong runs, especially at Las Vegas. Was in the top 10 at multiple points in the race, but got caught up in an incident late, had a bad pit stop, cycled into the back, could not recover in time. Well, I think that's been a story for a lot of drivers this year. They've had solid runs, but they just haven't been able to finish off races. Kerry Tribute, he's had a ton of great races, but he hasn't had that win yet. He hasn't been able to break through. As you see, the top 3 here battling hard for position. Jason Morales trying to bridge the gap here from the 4th position, but Nathan Maurer closest he's been all night to Hunter Parsons.
Yeah, as we look right now at the grid, we talk with the 23 machine of the Stephen Thomas. We were just talking about him. He's up 10 spots from the drop of the green flag inside the top 10. Currently, Tim Hammond in the 69 machine, we were just speaking about him, currently 8th, and Brady LaBeouf in that 9 machine, currently up to 7th. It's a playoff theme here, playoff race number 1 here in the NASRA 360 Racing Network. We look at some of those drivers, those playoff racers, as you mentioned there, Tyler. Brendan Broadfoot in that 24 machine down in the 17th spot. Hasn't really gotten things moving here tonight. We've got other drivers down there as well, cutting out at 26 down there in the 20th spot here tonight. So some drivers haven't really getting things moving here tonight. And in these playoff races, you can't afford to have a bad race.
No, you really can't. And some of these drivers may be getting lucky with Steve Barnett not showing up tonight, but that's not going to be enough. See Robbie Richards also having a very poor night so far. But thinking of Robbie Richards, he had 9 playoff points coming in, so he was 9 points clear of the cutoff. All 4 drivers were at 1,000 points level. They were all 1 point behind the 12th place driver. Meanwhile, they were all 9 points behind Robbie Richards. Maybe Robbie Richards isn't having the run he wants tonight, but he does have a few points to work with. But drivers like Brandon Broadfoot doesn't have any points. Brian Chu has 0 points. Blanchard has 0 points. Tim Hammond has 0 points. So these drivers really need solid finishes because they have nothing to fall back on.
Right now as we're down the backstretch here on lap 57, starting to see some drivers move around the racetrack just a little bit, starting to see some passing starting to take place here as we're down the front stretch. Going to make it lap 58 right now, down to corner number 1. Counting down the laps here in stage number 2. This is the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series and the Pultz Poppers 175 playoff race number 1. Nathan Maurer was our regular season champion. Tyler, do you think he can get the overall championship done as well?
I think he's been the epitome of consistency recently. That being said, he has not had great finishes in the last 2 races we've seen. He's made some mistakes, got caught up in wrecks, taking him out of races. You see him really trying to be aggressive, get by Hunter Parsons, but he is really wearing out those tires. You see him slipping and sliding a lot off the corner, especially off of corner number 2. I think he just needs to be patient here. Hunter Parsons is here just to win. Hunter Parsons isn't here for stage points. Nathan Maurer is going to get as many stage points as he can without getting 20, but guess what? No one's getting 20 tonight because Hunter Parsons isn't affecting the championship battle. I think Maurer just needs to take a deep breath, relax, just kind of ride here behind Parsons, maybe learn some things, and then maybe try an alternative strategy later on in the race to get ahead of him.
Boy, that's a big ask to tell this 971 to relax, especially trying to tell somebody from Pennsylvania to relax there, Tyler. Those are big boots you're trying to step in there. I don't know about all that. A 971 machine, I think, is just playing with Parsons there at the top of the grid. I think we'll see that 971 make a move here as we close out stage number 2. But jumping back through the field right now, keeping an eye out some of the rest of the trucks in the grid as we're single file down the corner.
Yeah, you see Stephen Thomas up 11 positions now, got by Tim Hammond. Tim Hammond's got a lot of trucks behind him, maybe holding up the rest of this field. That includes Chris Blanchard, Raul Meza, Brian Chu, Robbie Richards. Oh, yeah, that's 5 playoff drivers nose to tail right now, all trying to get inside the top 10 for stage points. Make it 6 playoff drivers. There's Kyle Hess back there. 6 playoff drivers, and they're only competing for 2 spots inside the top 10 because Tim Hammond is 9th and Chris Blanchard's 10th. So that's only 3 points total for grabs among 6 drivers.
Yeah, these drivers are trying to scrap it out here as we've got 13 laps to go here in stage number 2. These drivers right now down to 3 and 4. You see Robbie Richards trying to go to the inside of the 37. Raul Meza not going to have a big enough run there off the corner. 69 machine right now here down into 1, trying to hold up this train of drivers, as you mentioned, Tyler. One thing I'm keeping an eye out for here on this next run, this tire wear, Tyler, as you touched on to start off this broadcast here tonight. Closing laps of this race will be 100 laps. So let's see what these tires do. What are these fast tires? Some of these drivers that choose to stay out here, not take that set of tires here, what that difference is like. Because, of course, during that long run, we're going to get to see more of that tire strategy come into play.
Yeah, it's really going to affect some of these drivers. I think drivers that you see like Robbie Richards, who's really asking a lot of that right front right now, trying to get to the inside row. Meza contact.
Whoa, no!
Meza in the wall. Wow, Meza got shipped up into the wall after contact with Blanchard. That's going to allow Blanchard to actually get to the inside of Tim Hammond, it looks like, for the 9th position. We're going to have a big battle there, but Raul Meza, definitely some damage on that truck right now. Kyle Hess is going to slot in behind him, but Meza's going to go from, I believe, 11th down to 12th. Robbie Richards gets by. Chris Blanchard, meanwhile, trying to get by Tim Hammond.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we can rev up a replay for you folks at home watching along with us here at the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. That just goes along the trend of the 37 machine of Raul Meza. Always gets the bad luck, and you can already see the damage on the back bumper of that machine here tonight. Tyler definitely going to slow down that 37 here. Going to have some damage to deal with here as we close down these laps here in stage number 2. I wonder if that's going to knock him out of the top 10 here tonight, which is going to put some strain on that 37, those last 2 playoff races here. And I'd like to say it's, let's call it round 1, if you'd like to call it here, these playoff races.
Yeah, round 1 of 3 races here in the first set of cutoffs. And obviously we go to a super speedway next week in Atlanta Motor Speedway. And then after that, we go to the 2-mile D-shaped oval in Fontana, California. That's going to be a challenge. You see Tim Hammond's been shuffled back. Tim Hammond's now outside the top 10. Blanchard and Richards both get by. Raul Meza looks good to the inside here. So Tim Hammond, the woes continue. He thought was running really well here. Thought he was going to get some stage points here. And he's gone from 2 stage points to 0 here late here in stage number 2. And those points matter, especially when it's 2 playoff drivers taking them away from you.
Yeah, I think these drivers are starting to lose these trucks just a little bit here in stage number 2. Starting to get a little more tight. A little bit more loose, starting to having to check up on the corner. As you watch right here, the 37 is going to go high, starting to see some more drivers drift up the racetrack, try out new lines here. Tyler, you might starting to see some drivers struggle a little bit here as these laps are ticking away here. Just about 6 laps to go here in stage number 2.
Driver who's not struggling, that's Hunter Parsons and Nathan Maurer up front, although Parsons has opened up over a half-second gap on Nathan Maurer now, so what was once a tight battle for the lead has spaced out here late in stage number 2 as we have 5 laps to go in the stage. You're looking at Carriage View under fire from Justin White. Justin White to the inside here in 3 and 4. He's going to try a slide job move. No, he doesn't even need to. He hooks the bottom perfectly. Give the number 3 position to Justin White. Jason Morales dropping to 5th behind both of these drivers. And Jason Morales may have company from Sean Hamilton here soon.
Justin White in that 2 machine looking like Heisenberg out here coming off of 2 down the backstretch right now. Mr. White now inside the podium here as we count down the laps here in stage number 2. That 2 machine coming on very, very strong here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Tyler, definitely a truck to watch out for that overall championship.
Yeah, Tim Hammond dropping back to 13th now. Brian Chu gets by him. He's got a rear mirror full of Kyle Hess now, and those 2 have fallen off from that big group of playoff drivers. Meanwhile, Stephen Thomas up 11 positions, non-playoff driver, but I told you he is a short track star. He is going to try and win this race. He's going to have 100 laps in stage 3 to do it, but he's made up enough positions here in the first 2 stages. I think he may have what it takes to get it done in a super long run here at Richmond, but it's going to be tough with a driver like Hunter Parsons and Nathan Maurer out front 1-2. As we are coming to 1 to go here in stage number 2. Hunter Parsons still by just under half a second to Nathan Maurer.
Yeah, Hunter Parsons still leading the way up top. 20 in your programs, 15 on the racetrack here tonight, trying to get out his broom and dustpan, sweep the stages here tonight. Richmond, as we're down the backstretch here, is going to get that one to go here off of 4.
Yeah, Hunter Parsons trying to do what William Byron did yesterday in the NASCAR Cup Series and just dominate this race, and he will win stage number 2 here in the Pultz Poppers 175 in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. And that was a very competitive race there between the first 2 up front for a while. We're waiting for that 10th place truck to cross the start-finish line for the caution flag to fly. The caution flag should now come out. There's the caution flag for the stage break. But yeah, again, Hunter Parsons, the class in the field. We will take a quick commercial break and come back with your stage 2 results, and we'll talk more about that playoff grid finally, Will. We're back live in the Pultz Poppers 175, your stage 2 top 10. Hunter Parsons, Nathan Maurer, Justin White, Jason Morales, Kerry Tribute, Sean Hamilton, Brady LaBeouf, Steve Thomas, Chris Blanchard, and Robbie Richards. And we're going to take a moment here real quick, Will Tiller, to look at our playoff grid here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. See those drivers in green? Currently, those drivers are in based off of points. Now, if you start all 3 races in this round, Richmond, Atlanta, Auto Club, and you win one of those 3 races, you are automatically locked into the Fast 12, which will be at Watkins Glen, and then Charlotte Motor Speedway, our first road course of the year. Well, that'll present a unique challenge for some of these drivers.
Yeah, but that's going to say that you survived this gauntlet of racetracks we're going to see right now with Richmond, Atlanta, Auto Club, all different racetracks, all in their own right. I would say Atlanta, very comparable to a Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte, for those folks still not from the old school days. But then you go to Auto Club. We just saw what happened there. Very sad that Auto Club won't be part of the NASCAR schedule anymore. A track can go 4 or 5 wide on, especially in these trucks here. Going to be a very difficult racetrack, especially for some of these drivers. It's going to be the last race they can sneak into the next round, Tyler. So I know we're going to see Watkins Glen, we're going to see Charlotte, but these 3 races, I think here in the Sweet 16 is going to be a very difficult aspect of these playoffs.
No doubt, as there's more pace laps, so we'll continue looking at this grid for the meantime. And you see, the driver Steve Barnett, he's plus, I believe, 6 or 8 or something along those lines. But Steve Barnett, he's going to drop outside of the top 12 after tonight's race by not running this evening. You're going to see drivers like Tim Hammond not having great results, but Chris Blanchard got stage points in both stages. He should jump up ahead a couple of these drivers. Brandon Bronfman, not the results he wanted, Cody not likewise, but Chris Blanchard having really solid run so far tonight. Maybe not great run, but solid enough that he should have a nice jump up in the points this week, Will.
Yeah, definitely here. And I think that this playoff race number 1 in round number 1 can really set the tone. Of course, I've seen Tyler in other series here in iRacing drivers have 6-7 wins during the regular season, then all of a sudden get iceberg cold in the playoff races and somebody else wins the championship. So watch out for here as we kick off these last 100 laps here in the Pultz Poppers 175. Reed flag in the air as Parsons takes us down to corner number 1.
Yeah, Hunter Parsons and Nathan Maurer get single file early on. That's Jason Morales to the outside of Justin White. 100 laps here. Will actually be just over 90 laps here. Now that we're going green flag racing again. Important to note, 3 drivers that are up near the front starting this stage at the back. That's Bray LaBeouf, Sean Hamilton, and Tim Hammond's a lap down currently. So I wonder if he had some significant damage on that truck and tried to get repaired. Those are 3 playoff drivers in 19th, 20th, and 22nd. Tim Hammond's the only truck 1 lap down currently.
Yeah, no fast repairs here in the Nazareth Series, any of the Nazareth Series here, especially in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Folks, if you watch or enjoyed what you've watched here tonight on Nazareth 360 Racing Network, we invite you to go check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Stay up to date and along with all the news playoff races here in this Monday night series, Tyler. But we have series also on Wednesday night is our podcast. Thursday nights Over the Top Designs Xfinity Series, and Friday is also some more truck racing on our Triple M Pulling Truck Series.
Yeah, Brandon Broadfoot really slow that time by, really struggling with his truck. Meanwhile, look who's coming up through the field in that 4th position. That's Stephen Thomas. He's up 15 spots to drop the green flag. Meanwhile, Brian Shue to the outside of Kyle Hess. But there's that 23 machine I think we have to worry about tonight, upsetting the party of Hunter Parsons up front. Maybe pulling a Kyle Larson to William Byron yesterday. Oh, William Byron still ended up winning that race, Will. So it'll be interesting to watch those 2 battle it out here in the late stages along with Nathan Maurer and Jason Morales.
Yeah, Tyler, I think NASCAR may have thrown one of their lug nut cautions, as Larry Mack was talking about there, especially when you have Kyle Larson's as your pick as a race winner. So a little bit of a heartbreak last night. We don't want that for the 20 machine here tonight. Still leading the way across the line down to 1.
Yeah, you see these drivers have single filed out, and now you're going to see Brady LaBeouf try to work his way through the field. Didn't have a great qualifying effort, started 12th, and he's going to try and drive back through the field after starting at the back of the pack here on this last restart. He's already gained 6 positions. He's up to 15th position. He's right behind Brandon Bullock now. He's going to try to get by him soon, but a little bit of a gap there to close before he can start making more passes and work his way back inside the top 10.
Yeah, Tyler, here as we close out the race. If folks are familiar with the Nazareth Series here, you'll know that there is already a little something between the 23 of Stephen Thomas and the 20 of Hunter Parsons. I believe Hunter Parsons got his first Nazareth win not too long ago, Tyler, and it came under controversy with the 23 machine of Stephen Thomas. So watch out here for a little bit of that rivalry to kind of bear its head here as we close out this race.
Yeah, and obviously short track racing makes it more optimal for moving a driver here at the end of one of these races. So definitely something to keep your eye on here late this evening as we see the top 5 there, single file comfortably. Chris Blanchard finally cracking up near the top 5. He's currently in 6th. Been really an 8th to 11th place truck all night long, Will, but he started to show some more speed here later in the run. Obviously helps that Bray LaBeouf and Sean Hamilton restarted at the back of the pack here on this restart, and Tim Hammond, again, still 1 lap down. So interesting to see how these drivers kind of settle themselves out here late in the race here as we have just over 80 laps to go. Well, it should be a very interesting stage 3 nonetheless.
Yeah, it really should here, Tyler, as we're starting to see some of the fastest lap times of the entire race. Right now, our race leader just ran a 22.55. That's better than a 22.60 he ran in stage 1 and 2. Fastest truck on the track right now, though, Tyler, is a driver who just ran a 22.48, and that is Stephen Thomas in the 23 machine. Fastest truck out on the racetrack right now.
Actually, Bray LaBeouf just ran even better than that. He ran a 22.47. We took a while to see it because Bray LaBeouf's back in the pack. Just got by Brandon Bullock there for the 14th position. So Bray LaBeouf working his way through the field. But I told you, Stephen Thomas is a short track ringer. He is unbelievably talented when it comes to running at these tracks that require a lot of brake control, a lot of throttle control, and a lot of preservation and using the steering wheel to get the truck to turn. So Stephen Thomas, driver to keep your eye out for, looking forward here in this stage number 3. He's running fast, but it's a lot harder to pass a truck here at Richmond than it is in most places.
Yeah, very hard right now as we cross the line here around 1 and 2. Tyler, as we watch this race play out, we still have a green flag pit stop that is going to come into play, Tyler. So if you're one of these drivers maybe lingering in the tail end of this pack, let's say maybe inside the top 15, what's your pit strategy like at a race like this? Are you pitting early in that window? Are you pitting with everybody? Or are you staying out as late as you can?
It just depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to make up time, and I don't think you're going to make up much time right now, the tires have not fallen off enough with those top 10 drivers. They're still running about within half a second of their best lap times of the race. You see Stephen Thomas on the inside of Jason Morales for that third position. He should get it here easily through 1 and 2. Stephen Thomas is going to roll that bottom really well. Hopefully get a good exit off the corner. Not clear yet. Jason Morales powering back through on the outside. Looks like Morales got into the wall, but it's going to slow him down.
Yeah, there, Tyler. As you saw, the 5 machine just scraped that topside wall. Now has to hang on as he has Carriage Tribune that 7 to the inside across this line. Jason Morales just met that topside wall. It didn't like him. He swiped left on that topside wall there, right? As Carriage Tribune that 7 machine is going to take that spot away from Jason Morales. And that 5 machine is now Chris Blanchard. And that 14 machine is now going to come to the inside. Down into 3 and 4 down the front stretch.
Yeah, they get single file. Morales needs to settle down, take a deep breath. But as you're saying, well, fuel strategy-wise, I don't think the fall-off's there yet. You saw 23.02 from Hunter Parsons. That's a very fast lap, only 0.5 of a second off. Once you see greater than a second fall-off, you may see drivers come in. We are at the beginning of the fuel window right now. We figured drivers 72 to 77 laps. We're just on the edge of that 77-lap window. Well, you see drivers trying something different.
Yeah, I think right now you're seeing Hunter Parsons really lead the way. You're not seeing a lot of passing going on here, Tyler. So I think as in the driver's point of view, I'm going to try to experiment. I'm going to try to do something different here to close out this race, especially if I'm a playoff driver. If I can maybe secure a top 15, top 10 finish and still experiment a little bit, I think that's what I'm going to look to do here as we close out this race.
Yeah, you see right now riding on board with Carriage should be looking at Stephen Thomas's 23 machine ahead. These drivers just have a lot on their plates, but 75 here to go when Hunter Parsons takes the line this time by. Should be an excellent battle between those two. They pulled about a second gap on Stephen Thomas. Stephen had to obviously work his way around Morales, so he's going to try and reel in those front two here shortly. We'll see how long it takes for him to catch up. We're going to take this moment to bring you Nazra's Sounds of the Race. Yes, and listen to these drivers working the throttle and the brake pedal around this very quick 3/4 mile short track here in Richmond, Virginia. As we're back live here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series, the Pultz Poppers 175. That was your Nazar 360 Sounds of the Race as you're riding on board a bunch of these drivers as they make their way around this 3/4 mile short track here in Richmond, Virginia. Important to note, during that Sounds of the Race, we saw our first driver come in for a pit stop. That was Charles Keller Jr. He pitted, came in, got 4 fresh tires. He's back out on track. That should complete his stops this evening. That was his last set of tires he could use. No one else has taken the opportunity to take tires. Hunter Parsons still running within a second of his fastest lap of the race. I don't think we're going to see a change until something drastically shifts there. Tim Hammond, though, still very far off the pace. Playoff driver, going to continue his streak. I think of bad finishes tonight will just not have the truck after that contact early on.
No, and that's a shame there. I'm sure I'll get to speak with Tim Hammond, the 69 truck, off the track here to see what went wrong. I know as of late was very confident, feeling himself there in the 69 machine, feeling that he could get some results underneath his belt, really get things rocking and rolling, was excited about tonight's race. As you mentioned, Tyler, just not going his way here tonight. Excited to see what he can do at Atlanta as you start to see a little shimmy off of 2. Looks like that truck has all but left the chat on Tim Hammond here tonight.
Yeah, these drivers still working their way through this long stage number 3 here. Just about 65 laps to go this time when the leaders cross the stripe. And we are well within the fuel window. Now it's all about tire strategy. Do you want to be the first on pit road? You want to be the last on pit road? But that battle for the lead up front's gotten a lot tighter recently. Nathan Mauer's pulled within a few tenths of the leader here. He's about 2 truck lengths back at the meanwhile. As you go throughout the field, there we go, the battle for the lead here. And it's a tight one up front.
2-truck battle right now here as we creep up to that fuel window. But right now we see the battle between Hunter Parsons and the 20 machine, 15 on the racetrack, 20 in your programs, trying to hold off our regular season champion, the 971, and Nathan Mauer, whose season I would say was extremely great with 3 wins back to back during the season. Really cooled down a lot there to close out, but already had done enough to claim that regular season ship. But here tonight, trying to get things going in the right direction when it counts the most. Down to corner number 1, still trying to get that number 1 spot from Hunter Parsons around 2.
I think you're going to see drivers start to pit here soon. Carriage View was on the radio. I wasn't exactly sure what he said. I'm going to try and turn up driver audio here so I can listen to some of these drivers talking and seeing if they're going to be pitting here soon. But it looks like Carriage View may be coming in this time by... nope, not this time. Maybe he's just letting the driver pass.
Yeah, right now, as you see Chris Blanchard in that 2 machine of Justin White up there. You're going to see a lot of moving parts here in the NASCAR 360 race network down to 1 and 2. You're going to see some drivers pit. You're going to see drivers stay out. You're probably going to see some drivers get lapped in the process as well. Tyler, very frantic moment in this race right now, and what has been a very fast race, I'd have to say, Tyler. A lot of cautions here tonight, as we almost had one right there between the 14 of Chris Blanchard, the 48 of Robert Richards, down to 1.
Yeah, and I'd like to take this point to point out that Brady LaBeouf and Sean Hamilton both started that last restart, about 40 laps ago now, or 30 laps ago now, back at the back of the lead lap. Sean Hamilton's only made up about 3 to 4 positions on track, and Brady LaBeouf's only made up about maybe 3 to 4 more. So they've not been able to work through their way through this field as quickly as I think they had hoped. And you're going to see Brian Chu battle back against Brady LaBeouf, maybe take a spot back. So maybe a mistake made by dropping to the end of the field here, or maybe it was a mistake on pit road that forced them to drop to the end, a speeding penalty of some sort. So interesting to see how this has played out for these 2 drivers. But meanwhile, back up front, Stephen Thomas is not reeled in. Your race leaders are battling hard up front. As you see just a truck length gap here off the 2 between the 971 of Nathan Mauer and the number 20/15 of Hunter Parsons, your race leader.
Yeah, right now as you watch this battle coming off of corner number 4 to the front stretch, one driver that stands out to me here tonight, as well as a driver that you got a chance to speak to, that's Jason Morales in that 5 machine. You look at those point standings, that's a big thing here in playoff race number 1. Jason Morales was 12th, made it in on these playoff races by only 3 spots, but right now currently inside the top 5, exactly how you want to start off your playoff races.
And made even more impressive by the fact that he made contact with the wall at one point. And that's his part. Stephen Thomas is in. That's a huge moment in this race. That's your first leader truck in on pit road here in the final stage. Looks like he's splitting the stage just short of halfway. So we'll see if that forces all the other drivers to react here now as we're entering here. It looks like Hunter Parsons is pitting here this time.
Yeah, you saw the 971 have to check up on that back bumper right there as Parsons heads down pit road. 971, Nathan Mauer still out on the racetrack on lap 120. Jason Morales right behind him in that 5. Now we'll start to see here, Tyler, this pack of drivers will probably all head down together But let's see which wave of drivers, which wave of strategy is going to be the best here as we close out this race. It looks like here as we come off with 3, Nathan Maurer is going to stay out here once more.
Important to note that these are the first laps all race not led by Hunter Parsons. Nathan Maurer, the first driver not named Hunter Parsons, will lead a lap tonight, and it just happened at, lap 120. It shows how dominant Hunter Parsons has been tonight, Will.
Very dominant at the top of the grid. Now has to put a little bit of a work in to get that bag, if you will, here tonight. That's all right. I think that 20 machine is up for here tonight. Non-playoff driver, non-points driver in this series here. Just out to have a bit of fun. Get a little cash money in that pocket. As we come off of 4, see that 20 machine has to eat up these spots in the grid like Pac-Man eats up yellow dots here as we work through these green flag pit stops.
Yeah, Nathan Maurer in the pit this time by, so that'll be your race leader handing it over to a different driver. That's going to be Jason Morales will inherit the lead here for at least a lap or so. I think he's going to see that Hunter Parsons significantly faster on these fresh tires, just like Steven Thomas. So you see a little bit of a gap between the two. The gap between Parsons and Thomas is still about 2.5 seconds, but it'll be interesting to see where Nathan Maurer comes out. Parsons in lap traffic. You're trying to get by Robbie Richards, so that's a huge checkup for him.
Getting a little dicey here in this lap traffic. I think that I just talked about not too long ago. How this race get a little dicey here, Tyler. Getting a little lap traffic here. Gonna reshuffle of the grid. You're gonna get waves of drivers. I like to say, Tyler. You get wave number 1, 2, and sometimes 3 of drivers that'll get reshuffled into the grid. Of course, as everything plays out, it's where your favorite driver will get shaken out of this field here. You're going to roll snake eyes. You're going to roll double sixes. That's all about which strategy will pay off the best here tonight. As you're watching everything play out here tonight, what are some of these drivers you're watching out for? Is Nathan Maurer right there stuck in traffic as well, getting pushed by the 23 of Thomas.
Yeah, Nathan Maurer lost 2.5 seconds on that pit cycle to Hunter Parsons by waiting to pit as long as he did. I think you've seen the drivers who pit earlier have the advantage, but their tires are going to fall off here late in the run. So, balance to see how quickly drivers can make up laps later on after pitting. Well, that's yet to be seen. Brandon Bullock is down pit road. He was outside of the top 10, though. That's not going to shake up too many drivers. Meanwhile, still out front, that's Jason Morales in that number 5 machine leading the way here as we're still working our way through green flag pit cycles. And it could be a very wide gap here, Will, of these green flag stops.
Yeah, we look at everybody right now as everybody's shuffling through those pit stops. Still see Parsons on your screen right now. He's been extremely dominant on the racetrack. We also mentioned non-playoff, non-championship driver here tonight, non-points as well. You look at the 5 machine of Jason Morales, still our race leader here, has yet to head down pit road here, Tyler. How long do you think that 5 machine can push it?
The drivers, they have up to 77 laps, I think, on a green flag run of fuel. Now, do they push that with tires is yet to be seen. But if they go all the way on fuel, they can go to about lap 150, maybe a little bit further, Will. So it could be a while till we see other drivers come in to pit. I think at this point, they've already made their decision to go along. They have to run it till it's empty, come out, take less fuel, and see what they can do. Although Brian Chu is now down pit road.
Yeah, right now Brian Chu is down pit road in that bright orange Monster Energy machine. But now you see a battle at the top of the grid right there. Justin White in the 2, Kerry Chibu in the 7, Chris Blanchard in the 14, Kyle Hess in the 86 machine makes out our top 10 on the racetrack. Very hard to keep tabs on your favorite driver though right now, Tyler, as you're going to see lap trucks. You're going to see trucks coming off of pit road. You're going to see leaders being reshuffled through this mix as well. As you see around lap 130, we only have about 20, looking at around, do my math here correctly, Tyler, around 46 laps to go.
Yeah, Parsons just unlapped himself, and that's going to force Morales down pit road. So Jason Morales down pit road this time. A bunch of other drivers coming with him. That's Kyle Hess, Curtis Rogers, and a few more. Dan Hagan's down pit road. Brady LaBeouf comes down pit road. So I think you're seeing the dominoes starting to fall now. It just all depends on who's going to cycle out where and how well these drivers who decide to wait can run down these drivers who came in earlier.
Yeah, you see that reshuffle right now. Jason Morales wasn't the only one. He had Kyle Hess follow him down. Dan Hagan in the 39 went down as well. You're going to see a huge reshuffle of the grid right now. Dan Hagan, Kyle Hess, Brady LaBeouf in the 9 machine also headed down pit road right there. We're also looking at Raul Meza in that 37 machine down pit road. Cody Knott in that 26 down pit road as well. Right now, our race leader is Justin White in that 2 machine, leading the way here. Caution's out, caution's out.
That is huge. In the middle of green flag stops, drivers are going to get caught a lap down. Some drivers aren't going to get caught a lap down. It looks like Tim Hammond very slow on the racetrack. He might have been the cause of that caution. So bad night goes worse for that 69 machine. But we're going to have to wait until after caution has cycled through to determine who's been really affected by this caution flag. But yeah, here we're going to watch the replay.
Oh my goodness there, Tyler. The 69 machine looked like he was all loosey-goosey off of corner number 2. Gonna watch it again here on the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. Tyler, he's gonna go high side there, and just off of 2, you're just gonna see that thing hit some ice.
Yeah, no, it looks like it just got tight, and then that contact really messed up his steering. He got around. Looks like he made contact. Yep, that's Chris Blanchard, another playoff driver, getting damage on that 14 truck. Blanchard's advantage. He was on the lead lap, hadn't pit yet when that caution came out, so he'll be able to pit, get some damage repair. You're going to see drivers have to take the wave around. Problem is, can they actually take the wave around? I don't think they can, because of Parsons, Maurer, Thomas, and Morales are going to block some of these drivers from getting that wave around here. It's going to be interesting to see how things shake it out and see which drivers are on the lead lap.
Yeah, right now we're under caution flag. And Tyler, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was our first on-track caution of the night.
Yes, you are correct. Well, that is our first caution for cause this evening, and it's shaking up the field in a big way.
Yeah, right now here as we're still under caution in late stages of this race, Tyler, I cannot believe this race has gone by so fast here tonight. This is the Pultz Poppers 175 playoff race, number 1 here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. And I think it'd be an interesting take to maybe catch up with the 69 of Tim Hammond, who is a playoff driver, and I believe you're catching up with him right now.
Yeah, Tim Hammond, this is Tyler Dittmer in the NASCAR 360 Racing Network booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's been a rough night for you tonight. You got involved in some contact early on, racing at the end of stage 2. What happened? We didn't necessarily catch it on track, but it seems like you've slowed down a lot since then and had some damage.
I've had some computer issues, and I've been trying to get those resolved. And then I forgot that we were at Richmond and didn't realize and lost a lap, and it's just been downhill from there. I really do not like this track.
Yeah, definitely it's been a rough night for you. I guess the one positive you can take out is Steve Burnett's not here tonight, so you're definitely going to gain some points on him. Other drivers as well in the playoffs haven't had great nights, such as Cody Knott, Brandon Broadfoot. So you haven't necessarily put yourself in too deep of a hole to start this playoffs. You go to Atlanta next week. You think you can get a big rebound there?
Oh, Atlanta, we're hoping to put a W on that one. I love the new repave of that track. So just reminds me of Vegas in these trucks, Talladega, Daytona. I can go take that outside lane and get this truck to the front.
Well, we wish you the best of luck next week at Atlanta, and hopefully you can salvage maybe a few spots here the rest of the night. But sorry for the night you have had tonight, and wishing you the best of luck throughout the rest of the season.
Thanks, guys.
And that was the driver of the number 69, Tim Hammond, who I believe will be joining Mission 1 Esports next season. So should have a nice, solid team looking forward to for him next season. But Will, definitely a frustrated driver, but he still has his chin up, I would say. So he's looking forward to Atlanta next week.
No, and I love how you touched on the fact, Tyler, that other drivers are having a bad night as well. So not all hope is lost for the 69 machine of Tim Hammond, especially with Atlanta up next week. I'm sure a lot of drivers are excited about that track here. A formation that a lot of drivers are familiar with, seeing as though it's a familiar layout as like Charlotte and other tracks like that. But here we go, Tyler. Going to go green flag racing here once again.
Big problem for Brady LaBeouf. He got caught at the wrong moment. He goes a lap down under that caution period. That's a championship contender. And again, having a rough night. Hunter Parsons, though, leaves the field of green. He's on older tires than some of the drivers behind him, such as Justin White and Robbie Richards. They're on fresher tires. Let's see if they have anything for these three dominant trucks all night long. Yeah, Justin White in the wall.
Justin White just touched the topside wall off of 2 right now, as we have a lot of moving parts right now. Robbie Richards in the 48 machine on the inside lane right there. Justin White, though, is going to get slammed by the 23 machine. He's going to put that tail right in front of the 2 machine as we're down into 1. Get in.
Oh, sideways.
Sideways and 1 and 2. He saves it, though. He saves it.
Wow, what a save by Chris Blanchard. He's going to fall through the field. Not going to lie, Brady LaBeouf would have greatly appreciated that caution there to get back on the lead lap, but everyone keeps it green for the meantime. And we're going to continue racing on as we have just over 35 laps to go in this race in the Pultz Poppers 175 and SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. Ron Hunter off track. He's in the grass on the front straightaway.
Ron Hunter all of a sudden decided to play a little lawnmower simulator instead of an iRacing simulator there. 30 Machine just went through the infield grass here, but you just touched on it, Tyler. This is the meat and potatoes of this race as Ron Hunter's sideways down the backstretch.
Meanwhile, you have a battle for the lead. Nathan Maurer to the inside of Hunter Parsons, side by side, first time tonight between the two of them. Maybe Maurer is waiting out 5 extra laps, is going to give him some better tires here. Slow truck there on the back straightaway. I believe that is the Ron Hunter number 30 machine. He has an issue for sure. Maybe some terminal damage on that truck. He's trying to make it back around to pit road. He should.
Yeah, 30 Machine's going to head down pit road.
He missed
right now. No, going to stay out in that 30. But we just watched that battle between the 971 and Nathan Maurer and our race leader, who's now to the inside of Parsons into 3 and 4. A battle for the lead down to 3 and 4.
Fastest lap of the race last time by. That's Donnie Lyons, a non-playoff driver, putting a 2.247. He's in 8th position right now. Meanwhile, the battle still raging up front between Nathan Maurer and Hunter Parsons side by side through 1 and 2. And this is just going to help the drivers behind them save tires. Hunter Parsons almost hits the wall off of 2.
Yeah, very heated battle right now for the top position on the racetrack. But here comes Thomas in that 23 machine. Here comes White in that 2. Everybody wants a piece of the pie as we're off of 4 down to corner number 1.
They settle it out here. They have just... Oh! Thomas gets turned by White. Caution flag is out, but he saved it. But the caution came out prematurely from iRacing. And that's going to reset the field. And guess who gets back on the lead lap? You're right. It's the boss man, Brady LaBeouf.
Wow, what a caution flag there. That's a lug nut caution that I'd like to talk about there, Tyler. We saw it yesterday in the Cup race. Let's see here as we check out the replay here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. What brought out only our second caution of the night.
Shouldn't have been one, but iRacing through it. Stephen Thomas, what a save. Completely sideways after getting run over from behind by Justin White. And it should yield a very exciting late restart here and this Pultz Poppers 175 and SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. We'll quickly take a commercial break and we'll be right back. We'll actually skip the caution because it should be a quick yellow here in the Pultz Poppers 175 once Brady LaBeouf gets his lap back as the lucky dog on the outside. Got caught by that caution during the green flag cycle, but he'll get back on the lead lap on relatively fresh tires. That'll put 17 trucks on the lead lap here at Richmond Motor Speedway. And, well, it really hasn't been too bad of a war of attrition here tonight that we generally see at most short tracks in the iRacing server.
No, it really hasn't here tonight, Tyler. I think, on a short track, just see a lot more beating and banging the trucks or cars, whatever you race here. Sees a lot more wear, a lot more caution flags fly. Here tonight, I've seen a lot more technical racing, Tyler. These drivers are minding their time a little bit more, waiting for those opportunities, finding those windows. You see a lot more like speedway racing than what we're seeing here tonight. These drivers very methodical in the way they're moving up the grid here tonight. I'm excited to see how this race plays out.
Yeah, it'll just be probably about 25, 26 laps remaining in the race by the time we go green here, ladies and gentlemen. But still out front, we'll do a quick run through the field as we get ready for this final run to the finish here in the first race of the SimRacerHub.com inaugural playoffs here, Season 1. Running through the field, Hunter Parsons, your race leader. Nathan Maurer sitting second. And Justin White, position number 3. Robbie Richards, another playoff driver in the 4th spot. 5th spot's going to belong to Stephen Thomas. Meanwhile, the 6th position, Kerry Tribune playoff driver. 7th position, Sean Hamilton, another playoff driver who's had actually a very solid night tonight, trying to rebound from some bad luck the last 4 weeks. Donnie Lyons, another non-playoff driver inside the top 10. And you have Jason Morales, who's fallen back after some unlucky caution timing. And Chris Blanchard rounding out your top 10 right now, Will.
Yeah, picking up in the 11th position, we have Cody Knott in that 26 machine. Rallam is in that 37s and 12th. Brennan Broadfoot, our last playoff driver, they're in the field in 13th position, up 5 spots on the drop of the green flag. Kyle Hess currently in 14th. Brian Chun at 51 and 15th. Brennan Bullock, 17 machine in the 16th position. Brady LaBeouf, the last man on the lead lap, the boss man himself, currently 17th. And then we see some other cars rounding out our top 20. Dan Hagan in the 39, Ron Hunter in the 30th, and Curtis Rogers in the 65. Rounds out our top 20.
Our remaining drivers on track includes Charles Keller Jr. He's 2 laps down. He's 21st. Tim Hammond, again, a playoff driver's had probably one of the roughest starts to this SimRacerHub.com playoffs here. He's dropped all the way down to 22nd. And Justin White, for causing that caution, he's been given an EOL penalty for running over Stephen Thomas. So, unfortunately, the playoff driver, Justin White, is going to have to go to the rear of the field here. Meanwhile, we're going to get reset here. We'll give you your first 3 rows. Row number 1, that's going to be Hunter Parsons, and to his outside, Nathan Maurer. Row number 2 will be Robbie Richards with Stephen Thomas to his outside. Row number 3, Kerry Tribute and Sean Hamilton. So 4 playoff drivers in your top 6. As we get ready to run to the finish here, it'll be about 26 laps to go by the time we go green. Hunter Parsons looking into the Geico restart zone, ready to get it going here. He jumps, gets a good jump. Nathan Maurer spins his tires a little bit. Robbie Richards gets a great jump to the inside as they run down towards 1 and 2.
Right now, as we cruise down into 1 and 2, still Parsons leading the way on the exit of the corner. It's a very bunched up right now down the backstretch here as we close out the stages. This is the time to get excited. This is the time to turn up the volume on your TV or on your phone, whichever way you're listening to us here right now, right here in the NASRA 360 Racing Network, SimRacerHub.com. Truck Series, Hamilton sideways, down to corner number 1. He's sideways.
Oh, Curtis Rogers hits him, and so does more. Ron Hunter hits Sean Hamilton hard. Brian Chu involved, Chris Blanchard involved. I think Sean Hamilton's truck may be terminal, and just as I said, that his luck may have been turning around. Sean Hamilton's luck goes from good to bad at the drop of a hat. And it looks like it'll be another finish outside the top 20 for 89, as it looks like he got turned around by Donnie Lyons. Maybe a little bit of netco, but
I don't know there, Tyler. That looked like the real deal McNeil right there. That looked like some real contact there from Donnie Lyons. To the left, I would say left corner penalty 89, right there on the entry of the corner. You're going to see it right here. I'm going to check out this replay on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. That looked like some clean contact there.
Yeah, this just should be a good view. Oh, I don't know. I think there might have been a little bit of netcode, but also maybe it's hard to tell. This is the best view. Oh, this is so close.
Oh, that's close there, Tyler. That's very close.
Yeah, you could chalk that one up either way, but the rough finishes continues for Sean Hamilton. Obviously, he was very disgusted over the radio. Very salty with the fact that it was a non-playoff driver, especially, who took him out there. And made worse by the fact that, like, we watched from some of the trucks further back who just come in spinning sideways into Hamilton.
Watch right here. Oh, I don't know that right there, Tyler. I think that shows the old nemesis here on iRacing.
Yeah, Ron Hunter also just plows into Sean Hamilton along with another driver. I'm not sure who
Charles
that was.
Keller Jr.
No, that was the Rainbow. I'm talking about the white, and I think it's Curtis Rogers, the first truck to hit him here. We'll just get a better view here.
Let's see right here.
Just let it play here, producer. We're going to see who runs into him after the fact.
Watch Hamilton, the 89. There's Blanchard right there in the 14.
Oh, Blanchard, we knew hit him. He hit him square. Blanchard had nowhere to go.
He makes contact. There's Ron Hunter in the 30.
Brian Chu into the back of
Brian
Blanchard.
Chu.
Ron Hunter hit him. It looks like Keller stopped there on the bottom, but someone else hit him.
Yeah. But I gotta say, Tyler, that's a lot of drivers that are just trying to scrape out, I'd say, a top 15, maybe even a top 10 here tonight. Gonna have their nights ended here late in this race. It's just gonna be disappointing.
Curtis Rogers gets turned by, I think, Ron Hunter into this.
See right here.
Yep, Curtis Rogers gets turned into him. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Curtis Rogers not even at fault on that one. Got turned into him by Ron Hunter. it's an unfortunate situation, but the field has reset kind of. I think we have one more pace lap here before we go green. The driver benefited from that. Bray LaBeouf, he went from 18th or 17th to 12th thanks to that caution. Playoff drivers involved though: Sean Hamilton, Chris Blanchard, Brian Chu. So that's 3 playoff drivers involved in that incident, taking on significant damage there.
Yeah, Tyler, as we watched it here, just a few cautions on tonight's broadcast here in the Pultz Poppers 175. We're going to get the 1 to go signal from Barney up in the flag stand. Still has that yellow flag up in the air. Here tonight in playoff race number 1 and round number 1 of the playoffs. We spoke about here during tonight's broadcast about how this is first race here at Richmond. We'll go to Atlanta next week, and then Auto Club would be the elimination race here in round number 1, Tyler. But it has been the Hunter Parsons show here tonight, a non-points, non-playoff driver here. SimRacerHub.com Truck Series just really trying to show him how to get it done.
It has been Hunter Parsons' show, but Nathan Maurer has started to challenge more and more as we've gotten later into this race. Final restart hopefully here as we have less than 20 to go. It'll be 19 to go when we go green here. First 6, that's Hunter Parsons, Nathan Maurer, Stephen Thomas, Kerry Tribute, Jason Morales, and Raul Meza up 12 spots from drop of the green flag. We're going green flag racing here. Great restart again by Hunter Parsons. Stephen Thomas looking to the inside of Maurer, can't get it done. They'll be single file through 1 and 2, the first 3.
Yeah, Hunter Parsons with those restarts there, Tyler. I get flashbacks to playing Cruisin' USA, either the stand-up arcade edition or the Nintendo 64 edition, where you get on the accelerator and that car jumps. You see the flames come underneath that thing. That's how Parsons had these restarts here tonight. Just shoots out of it out of cannon, but a huge battle down to 1.
Parsons threw a block there in the straightaway, and he's going to get...
no!
Thomas hit some contact again, drivers into the wall, but we stay great. Kerry Tribute to the outside on the lead.
No! The dominoes begin to fall down the backstretch right now as Parsons gets hit by Hess in the 86 machine. A lot of drivers beating and banging off with one another down the backstretch. No caution flag on the racetrack right now with 17 laps to go. What is happening? I feel like we're in the twilight zone. Tyler, new race leader is Kerry Tribute in the 7.
Nathan Maurer's dropped back 0.7 of a second. He has a problem. He is slow. Jason Morales gets by Nathan Maurer. Nathan Maurer has a problem. Something is wrong with that 971 machine. We stay green. No one went around. It's interesting that there was no caution for that, but we had a caution for an incident with, I believe it was Stephen Thomas, right, who got sideways and saved it.
And like Tally once said in South Park, I have no idea what's going on right now. As Kerry Tribute is our race leader down to 3 and 4 with 16 laps to go. We just had our leaders just wreck out of nowhere. The 971 and Nathan Maurer now losing speed on the racetrack. Kerry Tribute now starting to separate here down into the corner. What is going on, Tyler? I have no idea. The 7 machine now our race leader might be our race winner the way this thing's playing out.
Yeah, I don't think Jason Morales has the speed right now, but he's going to try and run him down. Maurer definitely slow on the racetrack. Maybe he's finally gotten back into rhythm, but he's got Raul Meza all over his rear bumper. So that's your front 5 with Stephen Thomas rounding out your top 5. Cody Knott up 9 positions from the drop of the green flag, running in 6th right now. If he can hold on to that, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, if he can hold on to that position, he should have a great finish here. Back throughout the pack, drama is building. Hunter Parsons definitely has to be upset with how that was handled by Nathan Maurer. He did throw a block, though, pretty late on Maurer down the front straightaway, but Maurer just continued to drive through him there in 1 and 2.
In what could be a bonus interview here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network, we might have to catch up with the 20 machine of Hunter Parsons. But here tonight, we still have to wrap up the Pultz Poppers 175. That is being led by Kerry Tribute. In the 7 machine, as you see, Parsons once again just struggling now, Tyler. Looks like he's just going to shut that thing off down the backstretch.
Yeah, that truck has achieved significant damage. He's going to come down pit road, put it into the wall, and he is quite done with this evening. So he is off the track, off the racing surface, and that's going to be a very frustrating end to his night. Meanwhile, really, battle for seconds, the closest battle on track, as Kerry Tribute is gone, ladies and gentlemen. He has checked out over a 1-second lead on the field.
Kerry Tribute has just been grinding through this race, working at it over and over again. Every race, though, Tyler, not just this race. 7 machine, we talked about it to start off this broadcast here tonight, just always been right there, very fast, just never had the results, just never could break through, get that race victory. here tonight, it could come when it matters the most in playoff race number 1.
Yeah, it really could. A chance to lock himself into the next round as we see racing throughout the field. Drivers who haven't been in the top 10 all night, now in the top 10. Cody Knott, Brandon Broadfoot. These two drivers coming out of nowhere here. Playoff drivers kind of struggling early on, but they have found themselves inside the top 10 late here in the Pultz Poppers 175, which we have 9 laps to go here.
And you think about this stat right now, Tyler, with 9 laps to go. You look at Carrick Tribute and that 7 machine coming into tonight's race, 6th in the points table. He was sandwiched in between Robbie Richards with 2 wins. Steve Barnett with a win on the season as well. You look up the table. You look at Adam Newbert, 3 wins. Justin White, 2 wins. Brady LaBeouf, a win. Nathan Maurer, 3 wins. Now Carrick Tribute is in a position to be the first truck locked into round number 2. No wins coming into these playoffs here tonight. Tyler could now be at the top of the table, sitting pretty with 2 races to go in round number 1.
And he was one of the best drivers early on. Stephen Thomas has come down pit road. I think he is calling it a night. He has significant damage on that 23 truck. So another driver who has bowed out late here. Carrick Tribute had a great speed weeks at Daytona to start the preseason. Was really great in the Clash, really dominant in his duel. Figured out, didn't have the finish at the Daytona season opener. But now, like you said, Will, he has put it together when it matters most. Yeah, he may have gotten some help from some chaos. But if you can't capitalize on situations like this, then you're going to put yourself in a bad position. Well, tonight, Carrick Tribute has capitalized as we have 6 laps to run here in the Pultz Poppers 175.
Yeah, Tyler, exactly what you said. Yeah, he made it through some chaos, may have caught some luck going his way, but you still have to survive that chaos. We've seen it time and time again. Some leaders battle it out. They take each other out. Sometimes they take out the third place driver. I think Carrick's just positioned himself all night to be ready for those opportunities when they came along, and it did come along. He got around the 971 of Nathan Maurer there, who was the culprit of that incident there. Got around him. Now the 971 down to the third. Jason Morales doing a good job of holding off that 971, I have to say, with 5 laps to go. But I think Carrick's just done a great job here tonight, positioning that 7 truck right where it needs to be. Now with 4 laps to go, I think that truck might be in victory lane.
Yeah, Carrick Tribute has had a great last 5 weeks. I mentioned he was the only other driver outside of Adam Newbert that I thought was on a hot streak. Yeah, he didn't win a race, but he has not finished worse than 6th in his last 4 races, Will. That's the type of consistency you expect from a champion. They may not win the race, but they aren't finishing worse than 6th. That's going to set your driver up great for a championship run here as we have 3 laps to go here in the Pultz Poppers 175.
Yeah, 7 machine will take us down the backstretch right now. Just a few more miles left in the Pultz Poppers 175. Carrick Tribute will take the 2 to go from Barney down to corner number 1.
Battle for second, though, definitely heating up. Nathan Maurer all over the back bumper of Jason Morales here. So they're starting to reel back in your leader. Carrick Tribute has a just under 3/4 second lead on those second and third place drivers. He's got 2 laps to go. 1.5 now. This time he's coming down the back straightaway through 3 and 4.
Down into 3 and 4, the 7 machine of Carrick Tribute will take the white flag. Down in the corner number 1, the 7 machine is looking to be the first truck to meet us at Watkins Glen in round 2 of the playoff races here tonight. Of course, we'll be at Atlanta next week, but Carrick Tribute and the 7 machine will get it done here in playoff race number 1, being the first truck locked into round number 2. Carrick Tribute wins the Pultz Poppers 175 here at Richmond.
A guy who needed a race win finds a way to get it done. And look at your top 10 tonight. Big upsets here early on in the playoffs. You have Brandon Broadfoot finishing 7th. You have Cody Knott with a top 5. 2 drivers who kind of just snuck into the playoffs. Your 15th and 16th drivers locked in tonight, and they figured it out. They got it done. Jason Morales, obviously congratulating Carrick Tribute on the race win. Brady LaBeouf coming over as well, congratulating the driver who has run up. Didn't mean to probably turn him, meant to door him, but just an insanely entertaining final 30-plus laps here at Richmond Motor Speedway. And Carrick Tribute, your race winner here in the Pultz Poppers 175 as we watch him burn it down here in Richmond.
Yeah, he's going to burn it down. Indeed, a well-deserved victory from the 7 machine, a carriage review here, racing out of Huntington Beach right there, agcompressor.com. 7 machine rocking out. I'd say it looks like a little homage to that Dale Earnhardt Goodwrench paint scheme, if I'm not mistaken there, Tyler. Maybe a little bit of that Dale Earnhardt energy is what that 7 machine needed here tonight.
Reminds me a little bit more of the Kevin Harvick scheme,
Okay.
mid-2000s maybe. But definitely a Richard Childress Racing-esque paint scheme with the black, the gray, and the red. No doubt, Will. I agree wholeheartedly as you see that Chevy number 7. Doing an Alan Kulwicki Polish victory lap here around Richmond Raceway as your boy, Kerry Tribune, will win the Pultz Poppers 175 in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series in round 1 of the playoffs. As long as he starts the next 2 weeks, he is locked into the Fast 12.
That's all you gotta do, Tyler. Just as what they used to say back in the day, you know, you're a pace lap driver at this point, Tyler. You run those pace laps. You can park that thing if you want to. Have some dinner plans. Just gotta make sure you fire up the simulator, get that thing rolling the first couple laps. But that 7 machine, for all intents and purposes, will meet us at Watkins Glen as our first locked-in driver to the Elite 8.
Yeah, we're meanwhile going to go through your final field results before we kick it over to our podium interviews. We're looking at our final results. Kerry Tribune, your race winner here at Richmond. Jason Morales finishing second, up 1 position, so a little bit of an improvement here. A great night for him. Nathan Maurer drops a spot. He'll finish third, but he had plenty of playoff points coming in. Should not be a concern. Raul Meza, late to join the session, up 13 spots. He'll finish 4th. Cody Knott, one of the last drivers in the playoffs. He'll finish 5th. Ray LaBeouf, after battling back from being a lap down late, he'll finish 6th. Brandon Broadfoot, another one, your last driver into the playoff field, he'll finish 7th. Brandon Bullock missing out, he'll finish 8th. Justin White, he'll bounce back to finish 9th after an EOL penalty late. Chris Blanchard rounds out your top 10.
Picking up in the 11th position, we're looking at Robbie Richards in that 48 machine. 12th will be Donnie Lyons in the 79. Good run for Donnie. Probably wanted to finish a little bit better, but still up 9 spots from the drop of the green flag. Will finish 12th. Kyle Hess in the 86 machine will finish 13th. Brian Chu in the 51 will finish 14th. Dan Hagan in the 39 will finish 15th. Ron Hunter in that 30 will finish 16th. Curtis Rogers in that 65 machine will be 17th. Tim Hammond at 69 will finish 18th. A lot of these drivers needed better runs here tonight in playoff race number 1. Stephen Thomas is one of those drivers in that 23 machine, currently finishing 19th here tonight. And Charles Keller Jr. in the 99 will round out our top 20.
Your dominant driver of the evening, Hunter Parsons, he'll finish 21st. Sean Hamilton, your playoff driver, again, another outside top 20 finish. Make that 5 in a row for him. He's really getting frustrated with some of these results after running so well all evening long. He'll finish 22nd. Tyler Daniels will finish 23rd, and Jason Stevenson will be the last driver to start a lap tonight. He'll finish 24th.
Yes, sir, indeed, Tyler. And I believe we're going to step aside for just a short break, and we'll be right back for our podium interviews right here on the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. Alrighty, we are back here at Richmond Motor Speedway here in the Nazareth 360 Racing Network. My name is William Tiller. I am joined by Tyler Dittmer. Man working those cameras here tonight was Adam Fleer. We just saw the conclusion of the Pultz Poppers 175. That was not won by Hunter Parsons here tonight. Tyler Dittmer, that race indeed was won by Kerry Chibu. But I believe you are catching up with the man who, a little controversial finish here tonight. Nathan Maurer, the 971. Tyler, take it away.
Yeah, I'm joined here with your third place finisher, the 971 of Nathan Maurer. Nathan, it seemed like you were the only driver who had something for Hunter Parsons all night. A little bit differing pitch strategy there in stage 3, and a lot of cautions brought you guys together closer all night long. Seems like he threw a block on you down the front straightaway, and then you got into him in 1 and 2, and it was on from there. Tell us more about that incident.
Yeah, Hunter, if you're watching this, I already messaged you. That was, yeah, he was blocking me and everything, pinched me down in turn 1, but he's a good guy. I watch the Xfinity Series every week. I know how good he is, and I feel like I might not be as good as him, but I'm good enough to know that I'm going to drift up and catch his left rear in turn 1, and I did it. Didn't mean to. I even slowed down for him to gather it back up, but you know how that is on these small tracks. I just got rear-ended so bad and just finished him off fair. And yeah, I'm just sorry, but I felt like he had a little bit faster pace than me in the beginning of a run, but then towards the end, I was faster than him in the long run. I was waiting for that final stage air, hoping for it to go green all the way. It seemed like right before the stage was over, each stage was over, I was about a tenth and a half faster than him a lap, right around there. And I just needed that last stage to stay green, and I think we would have had a good chance. But it's super hard to pass here. I got onto his inside once before, and it was even nice. I said, I'm not even going to race you. We got these guys on fresh tires behind us. I'm just going to get in behind you, and still came in with a P3, not my proudest P3, but we'll take it. I'd feel really bad if Hunter was in the playoffs. So that's pretty much my night.
Yeah, and you talked about that. You kind of just rode behind Jason Morales there at the end of the race. May have had a little bit of a faster truck than he did, but I heard you over the radio saying not to worry about it. You were just going to ride there. Were you able to kind of have that approach because you came in with so many playoff points, one extra spot, especially if it's not for the win, doesn't necessarily matter?
Honestly, I felt like I still had the speed there at the end to go up and catch Kerry, but I was so mad at myself for what I did to Hunter. I just didn't even feel like passing anybody. I was just kind of practicing my turn off on turn 2 to see what kind of run I could get on him. I just kept on backing off though. But no, yeah, I had good playoff points. We got some good stage points tonight. I feel pretty good going into Atlanta next week. It's going to be an absolute crapshoot. I don't even know if it's a new one or the old one, but if it's a new one, it's going to be a super speedway. So just going to play it safe next week. Probably ride around the back and let the people wreck themselves out, and hopefully be there at the end.
Yeah, it is. It will be at the really recently reconfigured Atlanta Motor Speedway, so it will be a super speedway race, Nathan. I can tell you that right now. But you still had a great run throughout the night and kind of set yourself up definitely, I think, for a strong playoff run. When you look at the remaining 2 tracks here in the first round, obviously you said, Atlanta next week kind of being a roll of the dice per se, but do you think you can get the job done at Auto Club, or do you feel like you maybe don't even have to get the job done? You can just coast in on points and start focusing on round number 2 at Watkins Glen in Charlotte?
This is definitely my hardest round, Auto Club. I'm terrible. I always say I'm terrible there, but I won my last 2 league races there 2 weeks ago. I feel like I'm not good there, but the strength of field in here, you got these good guys. Hopefully, Hunter Parsons keeps coming back. Adam Newbert should be back next week, and the week after that. It's just, I don't know. This is gonna be the strongest. This is gonna be the hardest round for me. But I'm just kind of banking. I told my teammates tonight I got enough playoff points, hopefully, just to get some average finishes here and not push it too hard and be there at the end.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time and talking with us this evening, Nathan. Before we let you go, obviously you have the opportunity to thank anyone that makes it happen for you.
Okay, I'm sorry, but can you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
No, you're perfectly fine. I was just going to say I appreciate you taking the time talking with us tonight, but we're going to let you have the floor to thank anyone that makes this happen for you tonight before we let you go.
Thanks to everybody. Thanks for you guys having a broadcast. My dad watches this every week. Likes watching you guys over the real racing on TV. Shout out to Brady for running such a great league. Shout out to all my teammates. It seems like every week, Tim, I love you, but every week I get screwed over by a teammate, man. Me and Will, not me and Will, me and Hunter are going to race that thing to the end there. And Stephen Thomas, we did that same pitch strategy. It's going to be fun. And Tim hit the one, brought out that caution. But Me and Kerry finally got over our hump a couple weeks ago there, and I know he's joining my team next year. I asked him to come join the team. I just told him a little bit ago, what a better way to get your first win in the first round of the playoffs. So congrats to him. Can't wait to have him next year. He's so close to being there at the end of every race, and he finally got it done tonight.
And definitely looking forward to seeing what your team does next season. Obviously, Nathan, but again, congratulations on third place finish, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Atlanta.
Thank you, guys. Have a good week.
You as well. Meanwhile, Will Tiller will be catching up with our second place finisher, Jason Morales.
Yeah, catching up with Jason Morales in that 5 machine here tonight. Somehow, some way, Jason, you come home with a second place finish. How did you get that done through all the craziness there to close out tonight's race?
Yeah, I stayed up in the top 5 the whole race, and then that green flag stop, I stopped just one lap before the caution came out, and then I wound up getting a lucky dog. So I was way back, and then I was on a mission from there. And I was driving about as hard as you can to get back up through everybody, and a couple cautions helped out, helped me get up to 5th, and I was sitting on fresher tires than everybody, so I really wanted to see it go green. And then that other little deal happened up there with Hunter, and tried to avoid that, and then got hit in the right rear, and then it just got super tight after that.
Still a pretty good run here tonight, finished in second. And Jason, we mentioned it during the broadcast, and you came into these playoff races not in the best of positions there. I'd say coming in just in the middle of the pack. Here tonight, going to get a second place finish. How can you carry this momentum into Atlanta next week?
Yeah, I felt like I've had pretty good speed all year. I started the season off with 4 DNFs, which put me in a pretty deep hole. Then had some pretty good finishes here and there. I felt like I'd let a few races get away from me, but I feel like I can come up here and run with these guys, and I'm not afraid of them. So Nathan's always fast. Kerry's always fast. These guys, the two's always fast. These guys are always fast, but I feel like I can run with them. So this was good for me because this is not a track that I felt real comfortable with, as I mentioned earlier. So to come away second felt pretty good.
And Jason, a little bit of an off-kilter question for you here tonight. Of course, you had some fans watching in the chat. We spoke to you before tonight's race. Tyler caught up to you again before tonight's race. What was the most fun aspect of playoff race number 1 of the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series?
Honestly, I think it's you feel the pressure of it. You gotta finish. And you see some pretty good drivers got put down pretty quick, and that's going to put them in a hole going into a wild card race next week. Atlanta's just like going to Talladega or Daytona at this point, and now I feel like I can race that a lot different.
Well, there we go. A little bit of confidence out of the 5 machine heading into playoff race number 2. But here tonight, Jason, you secure a second place finish. You're going to get some good points heading into that next race. You're going to get some good cash in your pocket as well. But I think your fans would be disappointed if we let you go without giving them an opportunity to shout them out. So, Jason, anybody you wanted to shout out, or any sponsors that made this race possible for you?
Yeah, obviously, number one, you guys for doing these broadcasts, man. It's a great watch. I got a bunch of people watching and supporting me, and if I don't have a good finish, I hear a bunch of crap on Tuesday. So I'm glad they'll be able to give me some good feedback. My wife, number one, for letting me do this. Brady for bringing me on to Mission 1. It's been a good year running with these guys. My sponsors, Sunstar Dental and Around the Block Tax Services, and Nazra, man, it's been a good one.
Well, Jason, a second place finish here tonight. You talked about a top 5 all night long here tonight in the Pultz Poppers 175. Jason Morales, our second place finisher here tonight. We appreciate you taking the time with us here, my man. Cannot wait to see that 5 at Atlanta next week here tonight. The 5. Jason Morales, we appreciate it. Have a great night.
Yes, sir. Hey, Will, don't sound so surprised.
That's it. Jason Morales, the 5 machine. But now it is time to talk to our race winner, carriage view in that 7 Teller, a driver that has been waiting for this moment for a long time. Take it away.
Yeah, I'm standing by with your race winner, Kerry Tribute. Kerry, you won the first ever race in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series at the Clash at Daytona way back in 2022. It feels like tonight you finally get your first regular, or I guess points win now we're in the playoffs, getting it done, locking yourself into the round of 12. What was it like when you realized that you were in the lead after all the chaos that happened on that final restart?
I just couldn't believe I cleared Nate and was able to get around him. And then when I looked at my relatives, had like a second lead. Thought, oh, for sure, I'm cruising it because I thought, maybe I had better tires. And then at the end, Jason was coming, so I was kind of worried for a little bit. But I thought once I got around these guys, I thought I had some fresh tires. I can get a little lead and we'd be good. Just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we talked about, you've been the picture of consistency all year long. You just haven't had the finishes. I brought up before in the pre-race, you have been top 6 in your last 4 races coming into this week. Tonight, you finally get that win, get that monkey off your back. Does this give you kind of a big momentum shift entering the next 6 races as we work your way towards potentially winning the season, the first ever championship in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series?
Like you said, the last 6 races have been pretty good for me. So I've been, trying to peak at the right time, but not trying to peak too soon. And I hope I didn't just peak right now. But I just feel really confident next couple of races. Atlanta, I like that track. And like I said last week, California is my home track. So I'm hoping to get some more stage points or, do something a little bit different because I need all the points I can for that, last playoff spot in the Final 4.
Yeah, as we see, obviously Atlanta next week, then Fontana, again, your home track you mentioned. But then you look at the round of 12, you kind of have to start looking at it now that you're locked into that round. You have Watkins Glen, and then you have Charlotte. Are those 2 tracks you feel pretty comfortable at, or are you going to have to maybe click off another win here in the next 2 races and give yourself some more points?
Yeah, that's definitely going to be, Watkins Glen's definitely the one I got circled for as far as I don't know what to expect. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of consistent there. But as far as guys can be just dogs there, so I have no idea what to expect. I feel Charlotte, I'm pretty well. The mile and a halfs have done me pretty well this season. So I feel like as long as I can finish Watkins Glen and get on to Charlotte, we could definitely move on to the next round.
Well, again, an impressive victory tonight. You're running in the top 5, top 10 most of the evening, and then things kind of fell your way, and you're able to capitalize on it, get the win tonight. Put a little bit of money in your pocket, obviously, which is a nice thing to do here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. And now you can focus on building your championship run. So, again, we want to congratulate you here in the NASCAR 360 Racing Network booth. And before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, I haven't really mentioned it much, but I want to thank everybody that makes this whole broadcast working and everybody that works on it, especially you, Tyler and Will. You guys do a badass job. I love rewatching all the races with my family and everybody I work with. And then I'd like to thank everybody at A&G. That's our sponsor here. And I want to thank my team, Ron and Steve, even though Steve wasn't there tonight, he's definitely helps out a lot. And also Charles. And then, just want to thank everybody that watches and enjoys this racing. I mean, this is really fun, and I love being able to do it. And that's mainly about it.
Well, again, wishing you a big congratulations here from the NASCAR 360 Racing Network booth. Kerry Tribune, you get the win tonight. You're locked into the round of 12. First driver to do so. No, it wasn't Nathan Maurer. No, it wasn't Justin White. No, sir, it was you, Kerry. So congratulations again on the win, and we wish you the best of luck in the remaining 6 races in these playoffs. And, again, best of luck next week at Atlanta, but go celebrate that win.
Thank you.
That was your race winner, Kerry Tribune. Well, I mean, a great way to start the playoffs here in the inaugural season of the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series.
Yeah, amazing, Tyler. And you watch right now, you can go ahead and pencil in right there. Our first driver locked into the next round of the playoffs right there. That is Kerry Tribune. Going to pencil him into that next round. The Fast 12 right there, Tyler. But looking at those playoff standings, what's one result here tonight that has you a little bit disappointed headed into Atlanta?
It has to be the continued story of Tim Hamlin and Sean Hamilton just not being able to, and never really their fault, but just not being able to get the finishes they deserve. They both run up in the top 10, top 15 all night long. Tim Hammond, has an issue with his computer, gets a lap down, then gets wrecked, and everything kind of falls apart from there. Sean Hamilton gets spun in front of the field, has significant damage, gets wrecked. Those two drivers are going to go from, Sean Hamilton's going to go from +3 to definitely in the red. Tim Hammond's going to stay in the red. Steve Barnett's going to drop into the red because he wasn't here tonight. And then, you're going to have drivers like Brandon Broadfoot and Cody Knott jump up into the green because they had great runs tonight. Brian Chu obviously also got involved in that wreck late. He may or may not be red or green or near the cutoff line. But, you had drivers that we necessarily didn't expect to have as great a run as they did. Cody Knott's a very consistent driver, but no one expected him to get a 5th place. No one really expected Brandon Broadfoot to get a 7th after the way he was in practice and qualifying. So, just a lot of big surprises coming in, Will. What's your biggest surprise moving forward? And who's maybe a driver in the bottom 6 that you could see making the next round of the 12?
Yeah, looking right now, Tyler, looking at everything that happened here tonight, we're just going to start eliminating drivers here pretty soon. Some names that really stand out to me here tonight, of course, Kerry Tribune in the 7 upset everybody, but then you look at the likes of Justin White in that 2. I think you still have to keep an eye out for him. You have to look at the likes of maybe Raul Meza quietly here tonight. Had a good drive, got caught up late as well, as always the 37 does, but kept it pretty clean here tonight. Looking at the rest of the grid, and I think you just touched on it. Raul Meza 37 finished 4th. Cody Knott in that 26 machine finishes 5th. So I think those 2 drivers right there could have an opportunity at Atlanta to maybe solidify things just a little bit, Tyler. But right now, after this race here tonight, some of these drivers really, really in that hot seat. You look at the likes of, Brandon Broadfoot in that 24 machine is going to finish in around the 7th position. Not the best for that 24 machine. Brian Chu is going to finish down the 14th spot. Some of these drivers already heading into Atlanta facing some elimination possibilities there. Only 2 races in.
I think we also forgot Adam Newbert didn't run tonight either, so he's going to drop into the red on points as well. So, a lot of things are going to get shaken up. I think we'll have a much clearer picture after next week at Atlanta, and that will be a wild card race at unimaginable heights, Will. I am very much looking forward to having 2 wild card races in the playoffs with Talladega and Atlanta, having an extremely challenging race with Watkins Glen. It's a very diverse group of tracks. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how these playoffs shake up.
Oh, I'm so excited about the Fast 12. I've had that section of the playoffs penciled in for a long time here in the SimRacerHub.com Truck Series. I believe those 2 races right there is going to just be a blast. We're going to go road course racing, then go to a track that everybody knows for an opportunity to go to the Elite 8. Tyler, what a situation that's going to be. But I'm already looking forward to next week's race here again, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Atlanta to see if Kerry Tribune can win it again.
Yeah, and it will be interesting to see if he can go back-to-back. But we're going Super Speedway racing next week. That'll be a challenge. Again, like you said, Will, everyone join us at 9 p.m. Eastern Time to catch us for the second race of the SimRacerHub.com inaugural playoffs. My name's Tyler Dimmer. That was Will Tiller in the booth with me as always. Adam Flieger, our man, giving you the shots that you see there of Kerry Tribune burning it down here at Richmond Raceway. We like to bid you all a great good evening, and we hope you all tune in next week to see if a new driver can lock their way into the next round of the playoffs.